How's it going, everybody? Marvel Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today we are looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 65. This issue came out in October of 1968, and as we look on the cover today, it looks like we have a jailbreak going on, and it looks like Spider-Man is involved in this. How is this possible? We're going to look into this story today, so don't click away because we have an exciting story for you today. And so, as always, this is brought to you by Stan the Man Lee, who wrote this issue, as well as John Ringading Ramita. We also have Jim Madman Mooney contributing to the artwork on this, and we also have Art Simek doing the lettering. And so let's go ahead and get started. We left off from last issue. We had Spider-Man fighting Adrian Toomes, the original Vulture. He defeated the Vulture, and the Vulture got away, but upon fighting the Vulture, Spider-Man pretty much got injured in that fight and passed out from falling from a building. And so now we have a bunch of people, all the crowd in the street. They're wanting to unmask Spider-Man, and the only figure that is trying to prevent that from happening is Captain Stacy. And we see right here that he is going to be the person that tells the rest of the policemen to not unmask Spider-Man. And so Spider-Man is now in police custody for the first time. And Spider-Man, as we know, has been wanted by the police for a long time. And so we see that, again, a lot of the people in the street want to unmask Spider-Man, and even some of the police officers are tempted to do it as well. But Captain Stacy is going to calm the situation by telling the police that no, we got to worry about this man's civil rights, and we got to look at all the legal stuff too. If we unmask Spider-Man, we could be violating his civil rights. So while we see Captain Stacy talking to the police here, we see his daughter, Gwen Stacy. She's been worried about Peter Parker. We had that whole situation happen in issue 60 where she was mad at Peter Parker, but now that is over, and now she's wanting to make up with Peter Parker, and she knows that Peter Parker was up on that building with Jameson and Joe Robertson last issue. And so she's going to go leave her dad to find where Peter Parker's at. She runs into Jameson. Jameson is also wanting to finally unmask Spider-Man for the first time here. And of course, Captain Stacy is not backing down. We see right here that he's going to tell Jameson that no, we're going to put him in police custody, and that we're not going to violate his civil rights. So while they're talking, we see that Gwen Stacy goes up to the roof, and she sees that we got the cleaning crew picking up the pieces from the big fight with the Vulture and Spider-Man, and we see that Peter Parker is not there. So it seems that Peter Parker has vanished. We know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but of course, the gorgeous Gwen Stacy does not know that. So she's very worried here. She doesn't know if Peter Parker is hurt or if he's vanished. We don't know exactly what happened according to her, but we know that Spider-Man has been taken into an ambulance here, and he is being rushed to the infirmary. And so now we see Jameson. He's going to check up on Joe Robertson. We saw last issue how Joe Robertson dived in the way to protect Jameson from a falling wall, and that wall fell on Joe Robertson here. He seems to be A-OK, and all that Jameson can worry about right now is the unmasking of Spider-Man. That's the only thing he's concerned about. So that goes to show how very non-sympathetic Jameson is, even to his city publisher editor here, Joe Robertson. So we see that Spider-Man is rushed in the ambulance. He's been taken to the infirmary. We even see some of the doctors here who are on 24-hour guard. We see Spider-Man's on 24-hour guard. We have a bunch of guards here to check on Spider-Man. We see that these guys here want to also unmask Spider-Man, but this guy says no, hands off on Spider-Man, on unmasking him. We see that Captain Stacy has gone to the infirmary as well to check up on the situation, and while these men are talking, we see that Spider-Man finally awakens from his unconsciousness, and he realizes that he is in fact in the infirmary. He's not been unmasked, and he's starting to regain his strength, but slowly. And so he's just worried about how he's going to have to escape here. What is he going to have to figure out? So we see that Captain Stacy, he's talking to his daughter on the phone. He said, "I'm going to stay at the infirmary for a while. You be okay." And then all of a sudden, we see these group of prisoners come up from behind to Captain Stacy, and this guy takes Captain Stacy hostage. And so the phone call is broken up here, as now Captain Stacy is taken hostage by these group of prisoners. So we see the very worried concern with Gwen Stacy here. So here we go. This is going to get into the main part of the story here, and that is the jailbreak. And of course, Spider-Man is hearing all the commotion going on outside. So Spider-Man is going to check up on what's going on, and he realizes that in fact Captain Stacy has been taken hostage. And so Spider-Man, still being weak from that fight with the Vulture, realizes he's going to have to trick these guards, or not the guards, but these prisoners, into thinking that he's joined forces with them. And so that's what he's going to do here. He's going to tell them exactly what the plan is. But of course, they don't believe him at first. So we see that one prisoner lashes out, attacks Spider-Man. Spider-Man easily handles the situation here as Spider-Man throws that prisoner into the other prisoners and fights off some of these guys. And so now that it seems that they've come to their senses, that of course Spider-Man is going to join them, as it seems that right now Captain Stacy's life doesn't seem a hill of beans right now. So of course this is all going towards Spider-Man's plan here to finally save Captain Stacy, but he's going to have to join forces with these guys first. And so we also changed scenes here with Harry Osborn. We left off last issue with him trying to find his dad, and he's not having any luck right now. And he also runs into Mary Jane. We saw how she got a haircut. She's wanting to hang out with Harry Osborn, but of course Harry Osborn is not in the mood to hang out right now, as he's very worried about his dad. And as we know, that Norman Osborn has been struggling for the past few issues with the fact that images keep popping up in his mind about the Green Goblin and Spider-Man. And so we'll learn more about that in the coming issues. So let's return now to the scene with the jailbreak. It is now learned by the police that there has been a break in the infirmary and that Captain Stacy has been taken hostage. And so they're worried that Spider-Man is mixed up into this. And as we can see, it looks like he is mixed up in it. But as we know, Spider-Man has his own reasons for siding with these prisoners. So Spider-Man breaks these iron bars here. He's going to go find a way to allow the prisoners to escape. So while he's doing that, we see that the police have to let these prisoners go, and so they're let out. And we see that Captain Stacy is still being taken hostage. We see that Spider-Man finally comes to another entrance, webs up these guys, explains to them that he's on their side. And amongst all this commotion going on, Spider-Man decides at this precise moment that he needs to call Aunt May. So this is just crazy here. We have all this stuff going on at the infirmary, and he finds the time to call his aunt. And so it doesn't do any good, as we see that that call just makes Aunt May even more nervous. And so that wasn't a good decision by Spider-Man here. Spider-Man decides that he needs to cut the lights here, so he breaks the fuse box here, and now there's darkness throughout the infirmary here, and the prisoners are wondering what the heck is going on. Spider-Man returns, tells them that he's found a way for an escape, and that the darkness will provide protection so that they can't be seen. And while the prisoners are making their escape, we see that Spider-Man one by one is taking out these prisoners. And so there's about 5 of them, and one by one they're all being taken out until we get to the very last prisoner here. The lights cut back on, and then this prisoner sees that all of his inmates have been webbed up. And so this prisoner here is threatening to kill Captain Stacy here, but we see that Spider-Man is not going to let that happen. He takes out this prisoner and allows Captain Stacy to be released from the grip of this guy. And so we see that Captain Stacy's like, I will speak on your behalf and that you don't have anything to worry about. And Spider-Man's like, I'm not going to stay here as prisoner. You got that wrong about that. I'm not going to stay here. But Captain Stacy's like, well, if you stay here, then and you go on trial, then you can not worry about being considered a criminal anymore. But of course, Spider-Man has to worry about his Aunt May. If it came to the notion that Spider-Man was unmasked and that basically his identity was known throughout the world, I mean, Aunt May would take that really badly because she has a weak heart. And so we see that the guards here, they rush back in, and we see that Captain Stacy is in fact fine here. He's not hurt at all. And we see that Jameson here is just so mad at Captain Stacy for letting Spider-Man get away. And so that's how we end this issue. I hope you liked it. It was something a lot different. Usually we have a story with a supervillain, but not in this issue. We were just continuing the storyline here with what happened after the fight with the Vulture. So this is exactly what happened. But next issue, we see the return of Mysterio. We haven't seen Mysterio in quite some time. We haven't seen him since Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 4. And so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. But as always, hope you like this issue. Subscribe if you have not. And as always, I will see you next time. And until next time, keep reading comics.